The rock classics of the 70s didn't come from where most people imagine. In fact, almost none of them were supposed to happen. The most heard song on this list was rejected again and again by record labels. Then someone played it on the radio without permission. That night, the station's phone lines collapsed. If you grew up with these songs, you already know they carry something that is hard to explain. Today, there is a real reason behind every single one. Number 10. Paranoid, Black Sabbath. When Tony Iommi hits that first chord, Paranoid doesn't sound planned. It sounds captured mid-panic. The band needed one more track to fill their second album, and Iommi reportedly wrote the riff in under half an hour. What they created by accident became one of heavy metal's defining moments. His damaged fingertips forced him to use lighter strings and down-tune his guitar, giving the track a darker, heavier texture. Ozzy Osbourne sounds unhinged, like someone living the paranoia instead of performing it. The lyrics describe internal collapse, not monsters or ghosts. At a time when peace and love still shaped the charts, Black Sabbath proved darkness could be commercial. Paranoid built the foundation for an entire genre, and radio, despite itself, couldn't stop playing it. Number 9. More Than a Feeling, Boston. This song took 5 years to finish. Not because the band was lazy, but because one man refused to release it until physics agreed with him. Tom Scholz was an MIT-trained engineer who built his own effects units because nothing on the market could create the sound in his head. He recorded most of Boston's debut in his basement, turning the band into one man's engineering project that accidentally became one of the best-selling debut albums in American history. The shimmering guitar tone didn't just sound polished, it rewired what radio rock could be. But the song itself is about something no machine can manufacture: musical memory. The way one song can drag you back to a moment that no longer exists. More Than a Feeling wasn't just a rock song, it was a time machine. Number 8. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, Pink Floyd. When the disco beat drops and the children's choir starts singing Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 doesn't sound like a normal Pink Floyd song. It sounds like a revolution inside a classroom. In 1979, Roger Waters was building The Wall as a concept album about isolation and abuse. But this track became something unexpected. It mixed a danceable groove with lyrics attacking the education system. The children's choir came from a real school near the studio because Waters wanted voices that sounded genuine and unpolished. The disco element was controversial, but the compromise became one of rock's most unlikely #1 hits. Radio kept playing it because it was impossible to categorize: disco, rock, protest, and pop all at once. Number 7. Dream On, Aerosmith. When that piano intro starts, Dream On doesn't sound like it belongs to a young band from Boston. It sounds like someone twice their age looking back at a life already lived. In 1973, Aerosmith was still unknown, but Steven Tyler had carried this song since his teens. The track was built on emotional contrast, fragile falsetto turning into raw screams, with lyrics about aging, regret, and time slipping away. The band reportedly thought it was too slow and too different from their blues rock material, but Tyler insisted. Dream On was first released in 1973, then became a major hit after its 1976 re-release. It proved hard rock could survive on vulnerability, not just aggression. Sometimes the songs that last aren't the loudest. They're the ones that remind you you're human. Number 6. Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin. Some songs become popular. Stairway to Heaven became something else. Released in 1971, it didn't follow any rule. It was long, changed constantly, and didn't even feel like one single idea. It started quietly, almost like folk, then slowly grew until by the end, you were somewhere completely different without noticing it happen. Jimmy Page began building it in a remote cottage in Wales, with no studio, no equipment, just an acoustic guitar and time. It wasn't built for radio, and it wasn't even released as a single. Still, FM stations kept playing it because once it started, people didn't turn it off. They stayed, waiting for where it was going. The solo felt natural, one take chosen and kept. Stairway wasn't designed to fit the system. The system adapted to the music. Number 5. Highway to Hell, AC/DC. Highway to Hell doesn't open like a warning. It opens like AC/DC already knows you're coming with them. In 1979, AC/DC was already successful in Australia, but this track pushed them into another league. Its title and imagery came from the band's brutal touring schedule, which Bon Scott described as a highway to hell. The lyrics don't moralize, they celebrate. The song captures the feeling of being young, reckless, and completely unstoppable. Then Bon Scott died less than a year after the album's release, turning the title into something far darker than anyone intended. AC/DC nearly broke apart, then returned with Brian Johnson and Back in Black. Highway to Hell became rock and roll at its most unapologetic, a song radio embraced because it was impossible to ignore. If you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps the channel. Number 4. Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. On December 4th, 1971, Deep Purple arrived in Montreux to record Machine Head with a mobile studio. That night, they went to see Frank Zappa at the Montreux Casino, the same place they planned to use as a studio. During the show, someone fired a flare gun into the ceiling. The building caught fire, the casino was destroyed, and Deep Purple watched the smoke spread across Lake Geneva. Days later, Roger Glover remembered a phrase from a dream: "Smoke on the water, fire in the sky." That became the title. When the song hit radio, what lasted wasn't the chart position, it was the riff. Simple, direct, instantly recognizable. The kind of sound radio doesn't need to introduce. Smoke on the Water didn't just tell the story of a fire, it became a photograph taken by a guitar. Number 3. Hotel California, Eagles. Some songs are hits. Hotel California feels like a place you've been to. Released in 1976, the song immediately made people ask the same question: what is it actually about? Some heard a satanic church, others imagined an asylum. The band denied it all. Don Henley explained it more simply: the loss of innocence and the darker side of success in Los Angeles. But the mystery helped. Every new listener tries to solve it, and that keeps the song alive. Then comes the ending. That guitar section wasn't improvised. Joe Walsh and Don Felder carefully built two separate parts that had to fit perfectly. By the time it hit radio, Hotel California didn't need explanation. It had atmosphere, mystery, and a place no one could check out of. Number 2. Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac. strangest thing about this song is that it doesn't sound like a breakup. It sounds like control. Go Your Own Way was written by Lindsey Buckingham during the collapse of his relationship with Stevie Nicks. But instead of sounding defeated, it feels deliberate, almost confrontational. One line in particular, "Packing up, shacking up is all you want to do," bothered Nicks, who later said it wasn't true. But the line stayed. That changes how you hear the song. It becomes two people remembering the same relationship differently, then recording that conflict together in the same room. Radio didn't keep playing it just because of the story. It kept playing it because of the feeling. Go Your Own Way wasn't just a breakup song. It was a conversation set to a riff. Number 1. Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen. Some songs follow the rules of radio. Bohemian Rhapsody ignored them. Released in 1975, it was nearly 6 minutes long at a time when stations wanted songs half that size. The label doubted it could work, but Freddie Mercury gave a copy to DJ Kenny Everett, who played it again and again. Soon, listeners were calling the station asking what that strange song was. Mama, just killed a man. Then came the operatic middle section. It sounds like a choir, but it was only Mercury, Brian May, and Roger Taylor layering voices again and again until the tape was pushed to its limits. Mercury never explained the lyrics, so people kept creating their own meanings: confession, metaphor, or story with no clear ending. Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't just a song, it was a puzzle radio couldn't stop broadcasting. These gems from the 1970s show us that time only makes great music even greater. And the most incredible thing is that there are even older songs, turning more half a century old, and still sounding just as powerful. Click on the next video and join me as we discover 10 legendary songs turning 60. See you there, my fellow rocker.